raised by my grandmother and my granddad, of which I knew as my biological parents, and my siblings, which are my aunts and my uncles. I did my Form 3. I have to do my ID. Okay, we go there, go to office in Zaomang. I'm with my grandmother. The gentleman that was helping us, he asked, "Ma ho ngwana o kae?" Okay, I'm surprised. What's he on about? I see gore mosadimogolo a morare ke nna mmago ngwana. A re nnyaa, mosadimogolo go ka direla ngwana o mang mmago a santse a le botshelong. The surprise shocked. That day, there's a meeting. Everybody, they sit me down. Ron no tlhontso botsaka ene mo snapeng ole, he's your dad. And he passed away in 97. And then your mom, Okomauna Tlala. Okay, there's a mom. I'm there shocked. What?
In our latest GaonaLive conversation, Peggy takes us on a journey back to her childhood, growing up believing her grandparents were her parents and her aunts and uncles her siblings. She shares how broken she felt after finding out her mother abandoned her when she was only 2 years old, a misfortune that had her battling with rejection issues in her adulthood. Let's go on this journey with her. Hi, and thank you very much for joining me here on GaonaLive Conversations to have this conversation. I really appreciate the fact that, you've decided to do this because I think perhaps, and I'm happy we're having this conversation because it's a story, that I know a lot of people share, right?
Yeah.
But it's not spoken about enough.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
Motsadi o kgona gore a ba nna le bana kana nna le ngwana ba mo tlogela ko lapeng a ba tsamanya in the name of ke a go batlela botshelo bo botoka. That's something that we've seen, right?
That's true.
And in certain cases, there are people who then say, nna ke godile ebile ke sa itse le gore motho le ke ene mama kana ke ene mme, and that is your story, and I'm really looking forward to unpacking it. So, hi.
Hi.
Thank you for joining me. Let's just start with, your background. I think I want to take me back as far back as possible, as far back as you can remember. Just take me to your childhood. What do you remember? What was that like?
Okay. I was raised by my grandmother and my granddad, of which I knew as my biological parents, and my siblings, which are my aunts and my uncles. The only memories that I have, it's of them. I can't complain. I can't complain. I couldn't even see that, no, I don't belong here, because they provided with almost everything that I needed. School fees, school uniform. I don't remember missing out in paying school fees and stuff. I was always up to date. So I had an awesome childhood, and I was treated like the last born of the family. So obviously, so I had siblings, so I had brothers, I have 5 uncles and then 2 aunts. So you can imagine.
When I know it's a lot of 5 brothers and 2 sisters.
Yeah,
what was the age gap between the last born? Again, last year.
It was a huge gap. It was not that bad, because I feel even today we are pretty much closer. Like we are like sisters. Like in reality, like sisters. I think I'm closer to her than any other, So that's how it is. Around 20.
Oh, wow.
So
that such a huge gap.
It's a huge gap, yeah. And I think growing up, I would find people asking, but why is your mother so old? And then I'll be looking at other people's moms. But it didn't matter. I just felt like, it's normal.
That's life.
I didn't find it wrong.
Yeah.
And then I would get home and then I would tell my grandmother, hey, those kids, they are asking me, why are you so old? And then she would just brush it off. And that that was just it. Yeah.
Very fascinating.
Yeah.
So there was nothing about this age gap that made you feel like yeah, end of story.
Yeah, because I think they tried so hard. They tried very much that they feel that I never had to feel out of place. They tried so hard that and they made sure that, you know what, we give it to her. Why is it like you gotta get treated like an outsider or something? Yeah,
that's it.
And the weird thing is like, because where I'm from, obviously re tshwaragane ke dijarata tsa bogologolo. And it was weird. They played along this. No one ever told me, like, no, those are not your parents. Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you about that. You know, normally, even if the immediate family doesn't bring it up, so I was literally going to ask you, did it ever come up? Even if you didn't understand it, but so it never came up.
Even when it came up, and then the kids that were older than me or those that I played with, they were surprised. Like, we always thought that no, we never thought that you might have a mom somewhere, you know. Yeah.
So now perhaps take me to a point where go to the first sign. I get something could be off. And of course, off, I don't want to give it a negative connotation or something. But at what point did even the thought sibling, when was it planted in your head?
I think as I was now growing older and older, I would see photos of my dad. But by then I didn't know he was my dad. Yeah, but I would say, you know, this man, I look like this man. And then I would ask questions, then they would just dismiss them. Hey, you look like so and so. And then I'd be like, no, we relate, yes. But I didn't think that, no, he was my dad actually. But that thing, and then I started my Form 1. My dad was a teacher. So my maths teacher happened to have taught with him. So in class, when the other kids were introducing themselves, and when she came to me, she looked at me and then she said, "O tshwana le Mr. so and so." Ne ke ruta le ene ko mo nna tlala. Okay, I'm there surprised. Ko wena ngwana gago le o sala ka o tsile motshudu go dile leng? Ga teng go dile jang? I'm surprised. What is she talking about? So she wants to know my names. And we came no, Peggy, the same name. I don't know. That's you. I didn't respond. I'm shocked. And then I couldn't wait to get home. I get home, I tell them the whole scene, what happened at school. Ooh. To me they dismissed it, but hey, they were furious. They were so furious. I remember my aunt went to school and confronted the teacher. Yeah, I think maybe they felt that it wasn't her place.
Of course, especially to share so much. It's one thing to just say, "Hey, what's yeah, no, you know."
Yeah. So I dismissed it. It was never talked about again. And I don't know if it was ever going to be talked about. And then I did my Form 3. My birthday is in November. So I have to do my ID. Okay, we go there, go to office in Zaomang. I'm with my grandmother. We get there and then, and then the gentleman that was helping us, he wanted details, and then my grandmother gave him the details. And then he asked, "Ma go ngwana o kae?" Okay, I'm surprised. What's he on about? Okay, nakotle, I always wanted to know if that issue, the dead part. But in my mind, I never thought, okay, if there is the dad, then there
has to
be the mom. Yeah.
Yeah,
I never thought of it like that.
Can I quickly just chip in and ask about the dad? This man you see in pictures, o tlang teacher ra gore a re ngwana ga mamang, o kae na re?
He passed away in 97.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I just wanted to figure out is there somebody who's somewhere All right, then let's go back to Mahongwana. Okay, and now you're like,
yeah. And then I see gore mosadi mogolo a morare ke nna mmago ngwana. A re nya mosadi mogolo go ka direla ngwana o mang mmago a santse a le botshelong. The surprise shocked. We go back home. I'm not asking questions. I'm just there. And then later that day, there's a meeting. Those siblings are called, and my grandfather, everybody, they sit me down. Ron no tlhontso botsakaine mo snapeng ole, he's your dad. And he passed away in 97. They take me to the graveyard so that I can see where he was buried. Okay. And then they pause for a moment, and then your mom okomauna. Okay, there's a mom. I'm there shocked. It was like I'm starting life. It for a moment I just can't explain that feeling even to this day. I just froze. Like I had questions, so many questions. Like, what kind of a woman would do that? Like 16 years, and she didn't even try to find me, at least to reach out. I would understand if she had whatever issues that she had then, but just to make that effort and reach out and then say, hey, I'm here. There was nothing. And I felt my family from my father's side, they were still angry. Yeah, they were still angry and so overprotective over me. And for my grandmother, it was a very painful moment for her, because she felt like maybe she would probably lose me to that family, or probably just end up saying, you know what, I want, yeah. And then we had to organize a trip to go and see my mother for the first time. Yeah. So, yeah,
So, apart from this feeling, what kind of mother would just disappear like that and not reach out? What else are you going through, as internally, emotionally, right? What kind of questions are you asking yourself, even prior to build up to the day where
I'm angry. I'm angry at her. I'm angry at the family that raised me, because I was wondering why they kept this from me. I completely trusted them. Even when I asked questions and they gave me answers, I trusted those answers. I believed them. So I was angry at both families. I didn't. Part of me wanted to understand, because my personality, I always want to understand a person first before I can make conclusions. I always want to find reasons why this person would act this way. Yeah, that's how I used to be. Yeah.
So then,
and then with my grandmother, Ra Maunatlala. I'm going to meet my mother for the very first time.
Thank you. What's going through your mind?
I'm wondering what she looks like. Is she gonna recognize me? I know for sure that I don't remember any detail of her, because I was 2 years
when she
and
left.
A few months, because apparently she just left me at the teacher's quarters, and then she had nothing to do with me. And that's how my father, and then he decided, you know what, because I can't take care of her here, let me go and give her to the parents. And then a year later, he passed on. And I had this sharp pain in my heart. I remember that the first thing when I got there, go te gae ko nnang teng. And then we went to the relatives. Like everyone wanted to see me. But ke ha ba kgobokane, nna ke tshogile, you know what, ke tlhakatlhakane. I had to go to the clinic and then get checked out. When I left the clinic, I saw two women batla. The other lady, because I don't know her, the other lady batla at Taboch, and then she hugged me and I was there standing like, and then yo, Mwana again, she was crying there. I think most of people were emotional. I didn't even show any emotion. I was just there cold, numb. I didn't know what to say to her. Even all those questions that I had, I couldn't ask her. I just wanted to do the ID and get over and done with this and go back home. Yeah.
And what does she say to you? Le bona chance ya go nna hatsi kana wa tla, she embraces you like that, she's crying, you know, what happens thereafter?
And then they find us a place at one of the relatives where we can go sleep. And most of the time, it was her relatives from all over. They came to see this child that has left 16 years, 14 years back.
And are they excited to see you?
They are excited, they're happy, others are crying. It was just an emotional moment. And then we didn't even get the chance to even talk. Early in the morning, we leave to Palape to do the ID. And then I meet with the uncle and the wife, the brother to my mother. I meet them I don't think it was for the first time, because I remember when I was doing standard 4 or standard 3, they came, but I didn't know who they were. Yeah, they came to my school. They were with my aunt. And then they just greeted me and left. And then my aunt said that they were her friends, and I didn't even question. But when I saw them, I remembered that, I've seen these people before. Yeah, and then we get there, we go through the process, IT. So when we get there, they become dramatic. Imagine. Ngwana ke wa rona, you didn't pay for gate ka Setswana go tshwanetse gore go ntshiwe magadi go rekollwa sefane. And I was already using my dad's surname. So for now, we are going to use our surname, that surname. Imagine. We are going to use our surname until you do the whole process. And to me, I told my grandmother, but these people don't deserve that. Where have they been?
Exactly.
You did everything for me. Why do they feel entitled now? But my grandmother was a peaceful person. She wanted to do things right. She wanted to do the whole process. And then, that's how I got that same name. And then we went back home so that we can arrange this tradition of paying the dowry for the change of surname. Yes. And then I think that wasn't the case, because now they weren't working with my family. They didn't want to participate. Then my family would travel to Palape to go see them. No, we are not home, what, but they know that we are coming. Only to find out later that they said, if ke ntshetswa magadi, and then ke dirisa surname, ke tswalela ka surname ya my dad's, then they won't be part of my lobola negotiations by the time I get married.
Oh, wow. No.
Yeah.
So, Kanyiko.
And I got more angrier.
Of course, because now you are thinking, what are the opportunities? Do you get it?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to be so judgmental,
No, that's how I felt also. I felt like, they can see that, no, motho re bala dingwaganyana di se kae, and then pretty soon we can gain something out of her. My mom is there and she's not saying anything. She's just agreeing with whatever the brother is saying. Okay. My grandmother can see she's very frustrated. And then we go back home. Now I have a situations. I have an ID with the surname. I have my certificates with that surname. And there was nothing that we could do about it. They said, you know what, you'd have to wait till you are 21 so that we're not going to choose that surname. Okay, fine. We go back home. No communication with my mother whatsoever.
She doesn't reach out even after this. Kana kwena o sa batleng go keep her in touch. Like, is it a lack of effort on her part?
I think both of us.
Okay.
Both of us. And then the brothers tried to reach out. And then I just kept my distance because I could see that my grandmother was hurting. And then after some time, I realized, you know what, maybe I should just give it a try and maybe hear that side of the story. And then it became complicated for my family that raised me. They didn't want me to take this step. You know, and I felt that they didn't understand. They can't just drop a bombshell on me and then expect me just to accept it as it. I obviously I have questions.
Of
I need
course.
answers. Yeah. And then I tried reaching out. I did reach out to her. And then I organized myself a trip to go there to visit them. And I did visit them. But by that time, I think I visited the uncles, not her. And my family was very angry, my grandmother. But I continued, anyway, just going there. But she wouldn't say anything.
No explanation.
No
You are not addressing the elephant in the room.
Space or something. I expected her to sit me down and say, you know, this is the reason.
Yeah.
This is why. Though I felt like there's no reason to justify what she did. Yeah. And not reaching out for me. Because if it's I know that if it's a man, we would bash a man but yeah, but if it's a woman, we tend to find excuses. Yeah, I would say maybe she was young, maybe she didn't. But I think most kids my age, their parents were young when they had them.
Yeah.
But they made efforts, they made means to take care of them.
Yeah.
And when I was about to make peace with it, I realized that I had a sister. And the sister went through the same thing, a younger sister. Yeah. She was raised by the father's side of the family.
Oh no.
So I felt like, no, this
is repetitive behavior, and it almost seems intentional now.
Yeah, she didn't learn. Yeah, she didn't learn, and there's no excuse for that.
Do you ever then get a chance to have the conversation, you know, to ask her why? Does she ever, you know, explain herself? Did you ever get to that point? Up to now, that opportunity to have the tough conversation.
She should just keep on saying, kana ngwana ka dikgwetlho tsa botshelo, you know, ne ke itse gore o tlo gola sentle go le ko go rrago. But why didn't you reach out? It's fine. Okay, fine. That was a good decision. It was a good choice. You were looking at the situations that you were, but why not reach out? And she was like, no, Kana, your family didn't want us to see you, you know, what. But your child is your child. No one can stop you from being there for your child. A good enough reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until my father's side of the family made peace with that, you know, she goes there and ke bona nako nngwe mosadi mogolo a re nya o tla ba dumedisa. Because I wanted to, part of me wanted to know where the other side of me,
That's
where I'm
it.
coming from. Yeah. I wanted to meet them. I wanted to know my other roots, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the
Your
culture and
identity.
my
Yeah.
identity, because I felt like I didn't know who I was. And for a moment, I think after the whole thing came out, I became a different child. Yeah. I tried to find different ways to fill that void, because now I realized that I missed out on that mother and daughter relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I became the black sheep of the family, that troublesome child.
Rebellious,
That's how what I became. And they didn't want to understand why they couldn't even tell the difference. Or this child moved from being the quiet, shy child, now moving to this person. How can we help her? Because more culture in rona, kore batsadi, they can just do anything or say anything, and you just take it.
Yeah, they are not held accountable.
They don't think that, why are some counseling after this? You understand? So that kore tshidulo maikutlo. Yeah, kore sengwe le sengwe mo go bone, they just drop a bombshell and then that's it.
You're expected to be okay.
Yeah, she will see what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I continued going there, but for a moment I felt, you know what, this is tiring. Why am I the only one going there? Like I'm the only one making effort. This is a one-way relationship. It doesn't make sense. Like she should be the one coming to me. They are the ones who are supposed to be coming to me. They should be trying to figure out, where is this person coming from? O nna kae? O tshela jang? You see, but I felt like the distant relatives from my mother's side, they made more effort than the closer ones, because I would get phone calls from a person, "Ke mo Gaborone, I want to come to Mochudi and see you." You see, but as for them, no. I was the one going there, and I felt like, you know what, this is tiring. I can't do it anymore. If really this woman wants to build a relationship with me, she will make that effort. I can't do it anymore. Because she's the one who was wrong with me, not the other way around. Now it was like I'm begging for that connection and relationship.
And did she ever, make that effort? Attempt to make the effort, attempt to build and nurture that relationship?
No, if I'm quiet, she would try calling maybe once and twice, or send a text there, and I respond to it, and then later, "Ngwanaka sukiri." I don't want that. I want a relationship with her. I don't want to be, because la ha ke le kwa go tle go nna go te o tlo bereke wa gele mmago, like so many expectations. Nobody wants to talk about what I missed out on her. Who was there for me? Because between her and my grandmother, I know who my mother is.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Between her, I just want her to make an effort.
That's it.
Yeah. Because ga re ke ra boela ko morago e ra buseletsa nako e hitileng, but effort.
That's what you're looking for.
Because if e nna gore ngwana ka nthekele sukiri, ngwana ka wa bona, it's like now she's using me, because now I nka dirisega ba tlhaloganya but ke kgone nna le pelo, yes, and then but hella, it's not what I want.
Of course. How would you say this has affected you, perhaps even your interactions with humanity holistically, because sometimes you hear people talking about having abandonment issues, having trust issues, do you think it's affected the way you perceive humanity? Has it affected other relationships? Has it affected how you interact with new people?
I think, yeah, in the past, because I would say right now I'm working on myself.
Okay.
In the past, I had a very huge problem with rejection.
Yeah.
Like anytime out, even if I'm looking for a job, anything, any sign of rejection in a relationship, either in a friendship, any form of rejection that I would feel, you know what, it would break me. Like I would have sleepless nights and I would cry. Even from my family, if I feel like, you know what, I'm treated like an outcast, I would feel like, you know what, probably this is why my mother abandoned me. I'm not good enough. Why am I here? You know, I used to question my existence ever since I found out, because I was wondering, why would a person just decide, you know what, I don't want this child? What was so wrong with me? Yeah, but I had to heal. Yeah, I had to deal with it. I had to tell myself, you know what, I wasn't thrown in the toilet, and I didn't die. So I'm here for a reason. Yeah.
Wow. What you talk about, you had to heal, right? Was there any intention behind the healing? Were there any steps that you took, or was it just, well, now we cancel it because you were having conversations with self? Did you have to take any steps to try and, consciously work on healing, whatever that looks like for you?
Yeah, my friends used to suggest you need to go for counseling. And I always tell them, you know what, I think a counselor won't understand me. That's what I always told them. Like, a counselor won't know what I went through. They will say anything from the book, but they won't. Maybe if I talk to someone, I don't know, but I'll deal with it. I that's me. I just believe in dealing with things by myself. Yeah. So I went to church. I had to lean on God. Most of the time, I still do. I had to talk to myself every now and then, like you need yourself. You need yourself. No one is coming to save you. You need yourself, and your future needs yourself well in a safe place. So I created that safe space for myself. So I think that's how I won't say that I'm 100%.
Of course,
But
healing
yeah,
is not
healing,
a destination.
it's a journey. It's a journey as much as forgiveness. Because back then I would feel like, you know, I need to, like I felt like I forced myself to forgive her. Like I need to forgive her. I have forgiven her, but sometime later I felt like, no, I'm still angry. I'm still hurting from this. And then I just, I said, you know what? I don't have to put pressure on myself with this. I would just take it one day at a time. One day at a time. Because I always tell myself, if the Bible says God knew us before we were even in our mother's womb, then he knows that I'll be dealing with this.
Exactly.
And this forgiveness would not be this easy.
Absolutely.
So I don't have to break myself for this. I just need to take it one step at a time. And I had to understand forgiveness doesn't mean that I need to build that relationship with her. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I would just know that I have, there's a lady somewhere, she's my mother.
Right, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
So also with your family, right? The family that raised you, the parents that you knew as mama, papa, and the siblings that you had, were you ever able to mend things? Because you talk about being angry at them and feeling like they betrayed you as well. Where are you with them now? You know what I mean? Do you still believe they should have? They should have told you earlier? Have you been able to mend relations with them?
Well, I at the end of the day, I figured out, you know what, they just wanted to protect me and they wanted what's best for me. Because I felt they did it out of love.
Yeah.
And they were so overprotective over me.
Mm.
Yeah, because I felt that they had the right to be angry at her because of how she left things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there was the right way she could have done things. And then just when they were loosening up to them, they decided to give them trouble just for a change of surname.
Wow, it's
So
horrible.
yeah, and then I understood where they were coming from.
Mm.
But unfortunately, I lost my grandfather 2011 and my grandmother in 2022.
Mm.
Yeah. And I think after losing my grandmother, it was very painful because I didn't lose my grandmother. I lost my mother. Yeah. So I don't know. I detached. I detached so much from my mother. Yeah, that's when I just detached and I felt like, you know what, she was right all along. There was no point in trying to go back there to those people, the people that are not making any effort to come to me. So, yeah.
Can I also, and I'm sorry, you lost both your parents, those you knew as your parents. I'm really sorry about that and hope that souls continue to rest in peace.
Yes.
I'm curious to know how hola ono ba bitsa eng as batsadi again, and was that affected now, how a go itse gore ke utlwa gona anong wa re my grandmother and grandfather, you grew up with gore these are my parents, right? So what was the dynamic there? How soon o itse gore go na le mama, was that affected? Gore ba o itse le bong gonne a suddenly anong o simolola o bitsa malome mane,
The weird thing is that ne ke ba bitsa hela ya ka ke tlabe ke utlwa ba bidiwa.
Okay.
E tlabe nna mme and then ntate. Ha ke utlwa ba bangwe ba bitsa le nna ne ke ba bitsa hela. And it didn't stop. I just continued to say mme and then ntate. And then that other lady, I just call her by her name. Because you earn it.
You earn it. That's profound. That's profound.
Yeah.
I'm curious also to know, Jorge, do you have your own family now? That's something I'm wondering. And also, has this affected how you perceive family, especially considering that's if you have, aspirations to have your own family, because, of course, that's entirely on you. Therefore, you have to, right? But has it affected that, you know what I mean? That journey and how it's unfolding?
Yeah. Right now, I cannot family. I cannot family. It has because I always told myself that I don't want to become that woman. I want to be myself. I don't want to take anything from that woman. So I always told myself that if I'm to have a child, then I want to have a child in a safe space. Yeah, I want that child to grow in a safe place with me present, probably with the father present. But that's why I think right now I'm not having any. I just feel like if I can't provide that for a child, there's no point in bringing a child into this world. Yeah.
Wow. So you want to provide security and that safety.
Yeah, because
that or nothing.
Then if I was to have a child, while I was still going through what I was going through, I was going to break that child.
Yeah.
I was going to break that child because I realized that healing her, you can only heal with healed people. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as they say, hurt people hurt people.
Exactly.
On that, right now as we speak, there's a parent out there who's not doing the best they can, as far as raising that child is concerned, right? There's a parent who thinks they're justified in being resentful, horrible, kana, nna ngwana o tlile ke sa mmatla, right? There's a parent who feels, ra go ngwana o mo tlogetse therefore le nna, wa tshwara e le motsadi, e le mme. Kante rre no go feel gore he has that right, he's justified because ene na se ready. I think your story kind of, says to me, parents need to take responsibility for bringing a child into, onto planet Earth. It's not about you. The moment you have to take responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Therefore, I want to hear what your message is to parents, to avoid seeing situations like this, or to at least ignite amends where there are situations like this currently happening. Therefore, or in the most extreme cases, exactly what you're going through. Mama ke mang, wa tshwara, ene o itse ba bapile le bone hena.
True. I would say, I think people should own up to their responsibilities. They need to make efforts, because I would see mothers making efforts, like doing all they can, that they be there for their child, even if Habana Majika they would take any job just to provide and be present. Uniform, even if it's not much, but ngwana wa bona, ngwana can see effort. Like I was saying, that I could see that my family to make sure that my needs are met. So people think that being there for a child, it takes you to be a millionaire or something. It takes you to be there emotionally for a child, loving that child, supporting that child in those things that the child needs. Excuse. And I would say you need to reach out to your kids. Yeah, you need to, because it's not, when it might not be affecting you, but it's affecting the child. And kamoso, when you see ngwana a le go gongwe, you'd feel gore e kare ka tsela nngwe batho ba go deprive ngwana gago, because eventually they will grow. And they will know who were there for them and who were not there for them.
Absolutely.
And they will shut you out the same way that you shut them out growing up. Yeah. So there is no reason for not being there for a child. Just more simple, hey, find anything. Because I would say big up to those that just find anything just for a child to sustain their children, their kids. Because no one is going to take care of them if you're not going to do them for. And those that are taking care of those kids, they will benefit in future.
That's it. Yeah. Wonderful stuff. And to the kids now and the adults, because the kids grow up, to become adults, right? Who are feeling that sense of rejection. Went through similar situations to you where, they feel rejected by a mother, or, and it's layered, because feel like just link easy. But ontlogetse ke go disiwa ke batho ko ke masika ke bonkoko ke bo whoever o batla go ntha o re wena o no sa khone go itekaela gore ke gole ke bapile le wena o le motsadi wa ka ke nyoretswe lerato leo la ga mme lerato leo la ga ntate, right? So there is the rejection that people continue to feel is so different, so layered, manifests differently. What is your message to people dealing with that rejection right now?
There's nothing wrong with you. I would just say there's nothing wrong with you, and there was never anything wrong with you. The problem is those that couldn't be there for you. Just find yourself and just heal. There's a reason why you are still here. And I believe that if God has given you an opportunity to live, then there's so much more that you can do. You are given another chance to do more for yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just heal. Allow yourself to heal. There's absolutely nothing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong to be in this world.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I would just say to them.
Peggy, thank you so much for, for such a heartfelt conversation, for sharing your truth, your story with us, and hopefully for igniting healing for another person as you continue in your journey, of trying to heal as well from this trauma, from this, unfortunate, circumstance, feeling abandoned by your mother. Thank you very much for doing this. And I wish you all the best in, your journey as you continue, Luena, to find the healing that you need as you continue to, become the best version of yourself.
Okay, thank you, Rane.
Thank you so much for doing this. And high five for, this very precious act of service to humanity.
Yeah, thank you, Rane.
All right.
You're doing a good job.
Now, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode. And don't forget to share, to comment, like, and subscribe. And if you'd also like to share your story, you can DM the GaonaLive or GaonaLive Conversations pages on Facebook, or just email GaonaLiveConversations@gmail.com. Catch you on the next episode.